All right, we are live again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18. Welcome to the Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast, episode 22. I'm here once again with my two amazing co-hosts. We got the greatest Twitch gamer, aka AOK Gaming. Angel, what's going on, my man?
Good to be here, man. Glad to be here.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, we got King of the Wrestling Trolls, Gonzo, aka Raising Personalities. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Nothing too much. Just got done watching NXT, and so I got wrestling on my mind.
All right, well, there you go. Angel, congrats on Colombia tonight. I know you wanted to say something about some soccer references in wrestling real quick.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you for that. Yes, Colombia gets to play in the final for the Copa on Sunday against Argentina. And then, I had said it earlier, but a lot of talent uses the Pele kick, especially in NXT, and you mentioned AJ Styles does do it as well as a finisher or one of their signature moves. And of course, Pele is the best Brazilian soccer player of all time, and that's why it's called the Pele kick. So there you go.
Pretty cool. Thanks for that wrestling soccer trivia. That's pretty awesome. All right, so real quick, if you're a first-time viewer or listener, what this show is about is a WWE podcast / live stream that we go over the past week in the WWE and we discuss what's going on. Hopefully, we'll expand more in the future, but for now, once again, it's WWE. You can join us every Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on YouTube and Twitch, or you can listen from Thursday going forward on Spotify. So we got a stacked show tonight, guys. A lot of wrestling this past week. We had a double PLE weekend with NXT and WWE. Well, I guess they're all WWE, but Money in the Bank and NXT Heatwave. Lots to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Real quick. So Money in the Bank recap. We had Drew McIntyre and Tiffany Stratton win the Money in the Bank briefcases for their respective divisions. Drew had a failed cash-in. We'll touch on that in just a moment. Sami Zayn and Damian Priest both retained their championships. The Bloodline win the six-man tag, but Solo pins Cody. We'll touch on that. John Cena announces his retirement tour, which was kind of a shocker to me. Wasn't really expecting that. And the Blood PLE will return for the first time in quite a few years. In October in Hotlanta. So real quick, guys, just we're gonna talk about certain things, so just keep it brief. But what are your overall thoughts on the Money in the Bank PLE? Gonzo, you can go first.
Oh, I loved it, and the fact that most of the fandom is losing their mind over it. Oh well. I was entertained. I enjoyed a lot of it. And so we'll dive into that a little bit later, but that's my initial knee-jerk reaction is I absolutely loved it.
Okay. Angel, what do you think about the Money in the Bank PLE?
The women's match was great. Amazing. Great spots. Lots of talent in that match, and they showed out. Still some mistakes here and there. I wasn't a big fan of the cash-in being used up, but, we'll talk about it. It was a fun PLE.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it. Wasn't the greatest PLE I've ever seen, of course, but on the entertainment purposes, I really enjoy it. Money in the Bank is one of my favorite PLEs, even though I still believe it should be just on WrestleMania. It shouldn't be its own PLE. But I get the popularity, and it could definitely hold its own, so I'm not too mad at that as well. So I definitely look forward to it every year, which is why I understand some people's gripes on the cash-in, but we'll get that in a second. But let's talk about, I guess, all of our girl. Seems like it's Tiffy time. Were we surprised? I mean, with everything that's going on, but it is Tiffy time. What do you guys think about that? Gonzo, that's your girl, so we'll go with you.
We narrowed it down to two participants. It was either Tiffy time or Chelsea Green. And so, shockingly enough, that's what it literally came down to. So I'm not shocked. I am very happy and thrilled. And so this was her, I guess, return to the path that she had left before she went away for a little bit. And so for those of you who are not quite sure what I'm referencing, there was a little bit of a dispute in, I guess you could say, Instagram world, right? She posted something and ultimately it got a lot of backlash and she went away for a little bit. And so now you figure after almost 2 months of not really doing anything, She wins the Money in the Bank, and here we go, off to the races.
Off to the races. Angel, do you agree with her going over? Essentially, it was down to our top two picks at the end, Chelsea Green and Tiffy Time. Kind of ironic there. So do you agree with the Tiffy Time decision to win the Money in the Bank briefcase?
Oh man, it was tough. Even when we were picking this match, it was really tough for me because I feel like Chelsea was just rolling, and it was like she was just getting the pop. She was in her home country. It just seemed like it was the stars were aligning for Chelsea, but Tiffy has been long overdue for a dub, especially at a PLE, especially for something like this where she can, maximize her opportunity to cash in for some gold, a title shot. It's just Tiffy time, and I love Chelsea. I hope they don't just drop her into the abyss here. Hope they let her keep getting on a roll, and she'll get her time soon. But it is Tiffy time right now, so I'm cool with it. I like it. I love Tiffy.
I like it too. I thought the women had a lot of great spots. I mean, it was one of the more brutal Money in the Bank matches that I've seen, and it came from the women. I mean, I forgot there was one particular woman that was just getting destroyed the entire match. I'm blanking out on who it was, but she got put through ladders twice. She 100% one of the best matches of the night. Yeah, I agree with that. I forgot who it was, but one woman was just getting dogged out. I mean, she went through two ladders.
Oh my god, the hell's her name now?
Say her name and she'll appear.
I can't think of her name.
We'll get there. But she
got jerked. Who EO threw into the ladder on her neck?
Yes.
Oh my god, what's her name? I can't think of her name now. She's one of my favorites too.
Stark.
I don't know.
Stark, there you go.
Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark got her ass whooped that match. I mean, she really took a lot of spots. But yeah, I loved how it ended. I was perfectly fine with whoever grabbed that briefcase at that last moment. I thought the spot Chelsea took, especially her playing the role that she was afraid to heights the entire match, I thought that was pretty funny for comedic relief.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then her going through the table, I mean, bittersweet because I kind of really wanted Chelsea to get this one. I was kind of leaning more. It was literally like 49%. But I'm really happy with Tiffy. So before we move on from Tiffy and talk about Drew's thing, last year we had Io Sky win, and she cashed it in a month later. We had Damian Priest win, and it took him almost a year to cash in. So we already know what happened with Drew. We're going to get to that in a second. So how long does Tiffy hold, especially with her alliance with Nia Jax, who has her title shot next month against Bayley at SummerSlam? What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Angel. You can take this one.
I think she's gonna hold it for a minute. I mean, there could be some animosity there between her and Nia now that she has the opportunity to steal that, go after her belt. And they're gonna play that off, I think, for the next few weeks, and so. But I think it's still excuse me. It's Jesus Christ. It is Bayley's belt that Nia is going after, and Tiffy can cash in at any time to get. Excuse me, that's what I meant to say. And now Nia and Tiffy can go after that belt at the same time, or Tiffy go for it beforehand or after. So we'll see some dynamics between them two at that, what's going to happen. But I still think Bayley versus Nia's the match at SummerSlam. It's not going to be Tiffy cashing in before that point, but they'll play it off like she might, or there might be some drama there. But yeah, and then after that, we'll see what happens. Because I think Nia's going to win at SummerSlam. So.
Yeah, I think Nia's going to win too, and I think Tiffy caddies to Nia for a while, and maybe even get some of that play where Nia tries to convince her to cash it in on Raw, Ripley or Liv or whoever. Right. I doubt that's the play as far as her going to Raw, but I mean, who knows? Do you guys have anything else you guys want to say about Tiffy before we discuss, the Money in the Bank cash in heard around the world?
There's going to be some great storytelling because, like Angel just alluded to, you have the Queen of the Ring, and now you have the Money in the Bank winner. And so both of those egos are going to be fireworks as this continues. And that is long-term storytelling for you right there. So is that a wink at me? I appreciate that.
No, my wife is making a sandwich and she's dancing while she eats in front of me right now. True story. Mrs. Kingpin is what it is. All right. Yeah, I agree on Tiffy. I think she holds for a while. So, but moving on, we have everyone's biggest talked about thing right now. Drew cashes in the same night as he promised he would and failed due to CM Punk, like we all knew it would happen if that happened. A lot of people are saying that it's the worst cash in. It was a waste of time, that Drew took an opportunity from somebody else. A lot of people saying they love it because it advanced the storyline between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, also creating another storyline with another real life rival, Seth Rollins and CM Punk. So, Angel, we'll start with you. What are your views on this right now?
Man, I just need Punk to be cleared already. I don't mind this anymore as much as like it was a fun rivalry as Punk was sidelined and the back and forths. It's been fun. I'm not gonna lie, I've loved it. But at this point, like you said, they did take away an opportunity for somebody. It was not, you know, it was not something that was common to do. Cash in on the same day. How many times has that happened? Maybe
A
has that
couple
happened?
times, maybe
Yeah, I
never.
can't think of
I don't
something off
know.
the top of my head.
I can't think it off the top of
So
my
I
head
don't
either.
mind, when they change things up. I'm cool with it. I like it. I like when it's a little bit different. It's not predictable. Damien held it for a year, and Drew held it for 15 minutes. Like, so be it. It is what it is. Like, we'll figure it out. But now it's time for the Drew and the Punk thing to actually let's have this happen already. I need Punk to be cleared. Seth got screwed over, and then they took back their gentleman's agreement, which was kind of annoying. I don't know why they had to take it back. I get that they respect each other, but at the same time, like, I don't know, what's the point of giving agreements like this and then just taking them back like the next show, the next night?
Maybe
But
it's Drew's punishment for not kicking out.
well, I mean, you mean Damien's?
Yeah, Damien's punishment for not kicking out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. I'm thinking it was the music thing, but we're watching. I sent you the Bully Ray video. They said maybe Damien got concussed a little bit. He might not have been good on his cues or really understanding what was going on in that moment. So there's a number of things that might have happened there. But Damien keeps the belt. Punk screwed over Seth and Drew, which is good because now we got this rivalry of all of them still. They all hate Punk, and Punk's gonna come back and do his thing, and we'll see where Damien goes from here. But yeah, I want this Punk and Drew thing to actually happen, and it's probably gonna be SummerSlam, hopefully, but it needs to actually happen now. Time's up.
All right, before I give David his viewpoint on it, got a couple comments here from our boy Derek the Guy. To give us clarity on the Money in the Bank, Liv did it to Ronda same night.
Okay.
He's also a Damian Priest hater, but I'll give him the comment highlighted anyway. He said Damian didn't kick out because he's awful in the ring.
Oh, one more thing I want to say about that.
Mhm.
Me and Mark, we discussed this. I believe that they should have counted to 3. Me and you have the same opinion on this. The ref should have counted to 3, and then they figure it out after. And I know that would have been crazy for the story, and it wouldn't have worked out the way they were really needing it to. But they should have counted to 3 and then figured out from there, in my opinion. And I think you agree to that too. But just want to say that last point.
And last comment before Gonzo gets his viewpoint. The more he's sat on it, the more he doesn't hate it as much. And I'm kind of in agreement with you, but I'm still kind of mad at it. Gonzo, your viewpoint on it, buddy.
Is he mad at the botched pin, or is he mad at the immediate cash in?
The immediate cash in. And the
all my trolls are assembling on this one. This is beautiful. I think I'm one of the very few that actually enjoyed this. So let me ask the question. If, I don't know, Drew holds on to the title or someone else wins this wonderful ladder match, what are they doing with it? Go ahead. I'll wait. They're not going after the main WWE championship. That storyline is only for the bloodline for the last 4.5 years. So that immediately disqualifies any relevance as to who would be doing something with that. You could somehow squeeze it in there again and do like history has repeated itself. Oh my God, here we go. They rush someone in. So here you go. You're taking a U-turn immediately. Drew McIntyre is a man of his word. It is in continuity, something that Star Wars apparently cannot do. They are changing history left and right and pissing off the fandom, losing people, losing millions of dollars in the process. So Drew is a man of his word. I like that. It's staying in continuity of his character. You have CM Punk that's interfering again. I mean, it's a given at this point.
Right.
So the fact that it's happening the same night he's wrestled, these guys are going at it. They all have history together. It was different. It's a U-turn. And now I don't have to worry about when someone's going to cash in on this title, because the Gunther versus Damian Priest match is even more relevant to me, where I don't have to worry about someone potentially running in and ruining this and ruining that. They are going to be gearing up for a very long title run with this title. And so I think we've said this before, that Damian Priest is more of a placeholder, right? But what if he shocks the world and he beats Gunther? I don't know. Who knows? That's really going to set the WWE universe aflames, just given that he almost lost his leg with that botch over the rope. And now we have the, what is it? The Toronto
pin.
screw job, right? The Toronto screw job at this point in time. So it's not traditional. And I like things that are not traditional, because how many times have people sat here over the years? Oh my God, here we go. When are they going to do it? This was the same issue that we ran into this past WrestleMania season. They didn't know what they did. And all of a sudden, the night of the show, they decided, okay, cool. You're just going to run in and do your thing. So I think people become too much creatures of habit, because they get so used to the same types of things happening over and over again. But this advances several stories now, and it also, for future storytelling, is going to make this title even more relevant when they do get to SummerSlam, and Gunther versus Priest is going to be even more relevant to me. And if Gunther does go over, you don't have to worry now about possible cash-ins, and it's going to be straight up one-on-one matches, which that's what I've adored Gunther for this entire time. The man has literally put on clinics, and I don't have to worry about him getting screwed out of some, because he's tired, or someone is all of a sudden last second coming in to steal a title. At least I'm going to be entertained depending as to what they do with it. And that's going to be the case for that. Or if they potentially would have went after the Cody title, you don't have to worry about that now. That's one of the things that I'm actually going to enjoy about it.
I'm working on not interrupting people, which is why I stood quiet, but you were waiting, and I do have an answer for your waiting question. So before I go in on my rant, do you have anything else you would wish to add, Gonzo?
LA Knight doesn't need the WWE title, so you can just give him the US title. That's fine. As far as Andrade, can't speak English, so therefore no one's going to push him.
He's the speed champion.
He is the speed champion.
And still, he won
Gable,
his match.
unfortunately, I mean, Gable's been losing left and right, so you're really going to move forward with him, unfortunately. You don't need to. Drew McIntyre, he did what he did. He won. And, I mean, who else was in that match? Oh, Jey Uso. I don't need Jey
Mello.
Uso. And
Mello.
Mello.
You had, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You guys got the last of it. Okay. All right. So real quick, before I give my quick viewpoints on it, because I don't want to spend too much time on Money in the Bank. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Did the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud need this? That's my
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's the headline of Raw.
Why that feud has been on fire with the rare appearances that CM Punk has had. It didn't need it. It's already boiling hot. It's already scolding hot that you didn't need it. While Derek, the guy mentioned, like he said, the more he sat on it, the more he was okay with it. Same with me. The more I sat on it, the more I'm okay with it, because it also created something with Seth Rollins as well. However, going back to David's question, what would you have done with it? Let's see. So who's in that match that actually needed it? All right. LA Knight didn't need it. We already know SummerSlam US title match, right? Drew McIntyre didn't need it. We already know he's got CM Punk on a red hot feud. Carmelo Hayes probably could have needed it, but we all know, like David said, which I 100% agree with, anyone on SmackDown that grabs that briefcase is just set up for failure because they're not cashing in. So that automatically takes out Andrade, especially because he's the king of the speed division. And then you had Chad Gable, all right, who's another guy that I possibly could have used it, but now he's tied up with the Wyatt Six, right? So that leaves one man, Jey Uso. And Jey Uso should have won. Why? Let me ask you a question, and I'll wait, Gonzo.
What's he going to do next?
Or Angel. What does Jey Uso do now? Because he already had a fight against Chad Gable and got a cheapy win because he was distracted by the Wyatt Six.
I have an answer.
Angel, go ahead. Give me your answer, please.
We pray to God, like the WWE universe has been praying for the past 6 months now, that Roman Reigns comes back and the original bloodline is formed and we start the wars and he joins his brother again. That's it. That's the only thing he got left.
And I knew that was going to be either of your answers. So here's my follow-up question. Is that not a regression for Jey Uso?
100%. But there's no room for him in that title and there's no room for him in this title.
So there's no room for him on the SmackDown title. The Raw Championship, as Seth Rollins has so eloquently stated, is the Workman's World Championship. So yes, Gunther's probably going to win at SummerSlam, but doesn't mean he's going to carry it for 3 years like he did the Intercontinental Championship either. It also doesn't mean that Jey Uso needs to cash in immediately. He could hold it. He could wait. He doesn't have to hold it as long as Damian Priest, but he could have held it for a little bit of time. Even if Jey Uso had a failed cash-in, my whole point on that thing is that it gives Jey something to do that is not bloodline related. But we all know I think it's going to be the Bloodline Wars, and I get it. I 100% get it.
Bloodline pay-per-view, PLE.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not. It's like for me, I'm like 50-50 because I'm like mad at like, man, you just took an opportunity away from someone. But at the same time, I'm like, CM Punk already created another feud on top of the feud that he gets because we all saw what Seth Rollins said to him on Monday Night Raw, that he's not going to let him get Drew McIntyre. That he doesn't give a shit now. Now it's personal. And I can appreciate that too because that feud's going to cook as well. So I don't disagree with you guys at all. I just understand both sides and I'm kind of torn on it as well. That's all I wanted to say.
I never said that Drew should have won. I was fine with him cashing in right away. I wanted Jey to win, to be honest with you.
I think we all did. I don't know about. Well, no, I lied. I don't know about Gonzo, but I know me and you kind of did. Real quick, let's get to some comments. Drew didn't need that win. Chad Gable or LA Knight would make for a better story.
We just talked about pretty much.
Okay, and then do you honestly think Jey Uso is main event ready, where he could carry the company?
Well, I don't know about carry the company.
I don't know about carry the company,
but the Raw title's not carrying the company.
But you really don't have to carry a company when you got 2 world championships and 2 brands. Yeah. So now, could he? Better question is, could he carry the Raw brand? Maybe.
Did Seth Rollins carry the company? No, he didn't.
You know, so
as much as I do love Seth, I think he's great, but he didn't.
Maybe
I'll say no to carrying the company. Not there yet. I mean, he can do a lot of wonderful things, like you guys are saying. Can he carry Raw? Yeah, I could see him carrying Raw if he jumps ship. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Just as long as he's not on a show with Cody Rhodes.
No, yeah, which he's not. So that's why he's got to stay in Raw.
Lastly, I was going to say something about the kick out. I really don't know what happened. None of us will ever really know what happened. Raw kind of, barely even addressed it, which that's something I do kind of commend AEW. When they mess up, they kind of address it and make jokes about it. But I think my kind of theory is, I know Angel sent me a video where Bully said maybe he just couldn't move. I think someone messed up and just didn't hit the button for Drew McIntyre's song. And I think that should have broke up the count, because then the ref would have been like, what the fuck, but we'll never know. But that's just something I kind of wanted to say.
Documentary in 10 years.
I know, right? Someone will come out and say it. They'll ask Damian Priest in 10 years. So did you fuck up? And they're like, nah, man,
Mm-hmm.
All right, last thing on Money in the Bank before we move on. We spent a lot of time on it. John Cena announced his retirement tour. I just want to ask one question.
I need a shirt, so yeah, buy it.
Final opponent.
Final opponent, Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker's going over at WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. Angel?
That's interesting. I think he's going to get the title one more time.
I think so too. I have this feeling.
Or how, but he's going to.
I'll tell you how. I have. He stated in that little promo real quick that he says the Royal Rumble is the final Royal Rumble that he will compete in. WrestleMania is the final WrestleMania he will compete in. I just have this gut feeling that he's going to win the Royal Rumble, challenge for the Raw Championship, get his 17th world title to beat Flair, and then give it up.
Yeah.
And then give it up.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest play right now for him, for sure.
So his final opponent is whoever's world champion at that point.
Right.
And I'm gonna
Punk or whoever, but yeah.
I'm gonna say Gunther.
Did you
that long?
Gunth?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Gunther.
All winter long is Gunther show? Shit.
Oh yeah. Gunther had that IC title for a long time.
Yeesh. All right.
Well, there's no Money in the Bank cash in anymore, so
no, I know. So he's got to lose it legit. Yeah.
So either John Cena wins the Royal Rumble or he wins the Elimination Chamber, because either one of those matches guarantees you a title shot.
Yep.
Right.
So, all right, moving on. NXT Heat Wave, quick recap. We had 5 title matches that night. Every single match with the exception of the Toronto chicks on the pre-show, who also won, by the way, were title matches. And Obafemi, Kalani Jordan, Axiom, and Nathan Frazier, shockingly, and Roxanne Perez all retained their championships. And then we got a new All Ego Ethan Page champion. Y'all laughed at me.
The lamest win I've ever seen in
What?
a title match. Ever.
That was a great match, man. Like
no, the win. You didn't hear me. The win.
I thought that was executed better than the kick out for Mr.
It was
Priest. So
the win makes Trick not look bad, even though he had the worst NXT championship run in history. But it doesn't make him look bad.
Dominates everyone, specials everyone, and they pin each other off his work. And then who pulled him out of the ring? Who was that?
Sean Spears.
Sean Spears pulls him out of the ring and doesn't care about the pin. I'm just gonna pull him out and not.
So you watched NXT.
No
you watched NXT, right? So Sean Spears addressed that. He said he told him that he was lucky that his view was obstructed because he saw Trick going into the ring and he went to attack Trick.
And garbage. Yeah. Whatever.
So
that's retcon. That's some Star Wars shit right there.
All right. Well, since we're talking about the NXT Championship, let's just. I mean, you saw us on the docket. Let's just stay on that topic. So is Trick Williams? Does he have the worst NXT World Championship run of all time? He had one defense. This was his second defense, and he loses. So what is worse? Ethan Page getting the championship in 40 days in NXT, or Trick Williams' championship
run? Didn't Trick have 2?
This is the second title defense. He defended it in a fatal. Mello? He defended it against a fatal 4. He never defended the title against Mello.
He never had it against Mello?
Nope. That was a non-title match because remember he went they
they
they faced each other stand and deliver, a non-title match, and then they faced each other a week later in a cage match. And then he went for the championship against Ilya Dragunov.
And he didn't face the 20-year-old
for it? They were in a fatal 4-way together.
No, I know. That just happened. I'm saying before that.
Yeah, nope.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry, continue.
So this was only his second title defense. So
sheesh, that's brutal. Man.
So I mean, the whoop that Trick movement, obviously super popular. What do you guys make of like this? Was this the right decision? I mean, how bad does this make Trick look?
Go ahead, Gonzo.
This match, to me, he broke up a good majority of a lot of the pins. He almost literally killed the 20-year-old as he flung him out of the ring and broke his ribs on the table. I mean, he's hitting, again, his trick shot left and right. He was putting on a clinic. Like, he looked dominant in that match. And it just so happened that it was an unfortunate event where he ended up losing his title, right? So he looked really strong in that match, even though he lost. I will say that that match in itself probably has been his best work in months now, because that was way better than the stand-in.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Way better than stand and deliver. Way better. I mean, even the cage match that he had with Mello shortly after the stand and deliver. I mean, that was a great match too, but he looked really good. But the problem has been they haven't really given him anybody to work with. Or the opposite is that he really hasn't elevated anyone else above their stature, right? So here you put him with an established guy, Ethan Page. He can talk on the mic. He can wrestle. He can do all these things. You also have him now with Sean Spears. That's another veteran that, you know, you have two veterans now that are going to most likely be carrying him and elevating Trick Williams. That's how I see it, because he has talent, but we need to put him in the ring with guys that can actually carry and tell stories now. That's how I'm looking at this. So
I love the take, by the way. I'm not combating your take whatsoever. I just want to let you know that real quick. But who's more to blame? Is it Trick Williams not elevating talent, or is it Shawn Michaels not booking him to try to elevate other talent and give himself? Because if you remember, once he won the championship, instead of, I don't know, giving Ilya Dragunov a rematch and furthering that story or anybody else, you had him feuding and making out with people from Metaphor, like Ora Mensa. Like, I mean, it was just a waste of time.
Metaphor.
Like, what was the point? You know what I mean? It's just like, where's the blame lie? Because the popularity is there for Trick Williams. That is 100% there. Where does it lie? So
maybe it was more of a, maybe I wouldn't say blame. Maybe it was more of a cool down. I mean, the way I look at it, you have TV series, comic book arcs that are fantastic, but then they go into these cool off periods where it's comical. It's meant to really just have a reset, a soft reset before you're going into this next level of whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, we had seen Trick for so long be so serious that in this little arc that he just had, it was all fun. He was soaking in winning the championship. He's making out with people left and right. People are all over him. And I think potentially you could argue storytelling wise that maybe that's what cost him this arrogance and this cockiness, because he has the belt now. Now that you lost it because of your arrogance and you found yourself in a fatal 4-way where, oh my God, like, holy crap, like, what do I do with this? And I'm the reason that caused this. There's a lot of blame. And maybe they did that from a story writing component. I mean, that's could be a creative way to do something like that. I won't say blame, but maybe this was all planned specifically like this, because now he's in a feud that I actually care a lot about, and it's with several people. So I'm invested again, because I said this before the Fatal 4-Way. I was actually bored. I didn't really care what he was doing. He didn't captivate me. So,
Yep, and my boy Ethan Page does the job for you.
I feel like when it comes to NXT, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird for thinking this way. It could just be a me thing for this opinion on it, but to me, I just always see NXT as the testing grounds, the minor leagues, whatever you want to call it.
100%. That's what it
So
is.
for me, when I see stuff like this, yes, it's not cool that Trick kind of had this run that didn't really seem that great. I don't know how else to explain it, but it just wasn't great. But you have the opportunity here to do stuff you can't do in the main cards or in the main brands
Roster, yeah.
You can lose the title, rematch, get it right back, rematch, lose it again. Like, I feel like NXT can get away with stuff like that and see how it goes. You know, it might not be the best for a fandom to watch, and it's kind of out of the ordinary, and people might not even like it. But I think it's a way of, you know, teaching these guys how to handle being a face, a heel, taking a loss, going over, putting this guy over, putting him over, so on and so forth, and then seeing how they work with it, you know. And maybe it is even to get a gauge on the fans, like, would they be cool with people like losing the belt, getting right back, losing it again, like, you know, because we don't really see that too much in the main brands, any of them. It doesn't really happen. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. Maybe he gets a rematch. Maybe he gets the belt right back. Maybe Ethan Page and him bounce it back and forth from each other. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. I feel like the NXT can do a lot of things that that Raw and SmackDown just can't do at all. In my what I think.
I agree. That's a good take. All right. Last thing out of NXT Heatwave. The only one that got this one right was Gonzo. Lola Vice lost to Roxanne. So Angel, you love Lola Vice. That was your girl. Her so Ruka. How do you feel on Lola Vice's loss, man? Should she have won this match?
I mean, I don't know. I guess she should have won, but I don't know. Roxanne just seems like they're kind of just making her a bully in the division, and I don't think anyone's gonna beat her anytime soon. I don't know who's gonna even contend for her belt right now.
I think
only Lola, and after
was the
this,
one. Yeah.
yeah, after Lola, it's like, wow. So the Roxy's just gonna rock this thing for a minute. So yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. She's gonna hold on to the belt. NXT's gonna ride her and see how far they can push her and practice with her as far as like a monster, you know, champ.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Lola should have won this one because she is the most over female that's not named Roxanne Perez on that show. So I mean, I don't know, but we saw on this past week in NXT, Thea Hale got a win, so it looks like she's going to be next in line for Roxanne, which I don't think she goes over on Roxanne as much as I would love Thea Hale to. Gonzo, do you have any thoughts on this?
I told you, and she delivered it in wonderful fashion, delivering CTE pop rocks after one another. I think 4 in total to close that out.
No, it was 5, and then shit one in the 5.
She dominated the last like 5 minutes of that match. It was just like pop rocks after pop rocks, and like she whooped their ass. So, all right.
Wait, was that the match where they got thrown into that when they were laying inside the? Who got thrown into that thing outside the ring and they were stuck in there for a minute? Was that their match?
That was Trick when he got like mauled by the 20-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. That was Trick.
Right.
All right. Go
JV. What's his name? Javion.
Javon Evans.
Yeah, the flying senton. So.
All right, so before we move on, we had a question by Forever Heel. I kind of overlooked it. My bad. This is in reference to John Cena. Should he beat Flair's record? He feels indifferent. So, guys, should he beat Flair's record or should he stay tied? Elders, if you're watching, feel free to comment.
The elders are going to say no.
I think Cena. I'm not a Cena hater. I wasn't a fan of his reign. It's not really my style. But being a babyface, Mark, I've told you this. Being a babyface in any company is extremely difficult. So you have to give Cena his flowers, his props. The dude dominated. He is a top 3, top 4 wrestler all time as far as work, putting the work in. There's not many. Ric Flair's like the only one that compares. So if he were to pass up Ric Flair, I honestly don't have a problem with it. I still put Ric Flair above him as a GOAT, but I don't mind Cena taking that record. I don't mind it.
Gonzo?
It wouldn't bother me, to be truthful with you. Now I can hear my dad gearing up his car, driving over here to strangle me, probably.
Yeah, all of us.
As far as, Gus too, possibly. I mean, those two in particular. But no, I mean, it'd be one thing where you said it already. John Cena was a workhorse during a period where the company did not have major stars. They all left, they retired, and he carried that brand for years, right? So at times you hated it because Super Cena was unstoppable, right? It was our version of Hulk Hogan where he just didn't lose and he always won. But then again, I give a lot of respect to that because, again, to do what he's been doing for so long, to do the traveling, to put people over, I give my respects to him. So I didn't watch wrestling as much when he was there doing his thing, but there's an appreciation that I do have for him. What brought me back was him versus Rock in 2011, 2012, right? Where they headlined at the first WrestleMania. So, and Cena was still doing wonderful things there. I have nothing but praise for John Cena. If he wins, fantastic. Well deserved.
Whew.
Kingpin hates it.
I don't hate John Cena. I don't like John Cena. I'm indifferent about it. I understand what he's done. I think the biggest honor is the fact that he's already tied with Ric Flair. And I thought no one would ever tie him, to be honest. So it's very hard for me to just give him that bump over Ric Flair, especially when I still think Ric Flair is ahead of him. Would I be mad at it? I think I would. I don't think that's the move. I think that's the move that we're going to, but I just don't think that's the proper move. And I'm gonna take Gonzo's troll gimmick for a second, and I'm gonna be that guy. John Cena has so many championships because it was just him and Randy Orton in that era as other people were winding down their careers.
He faced Punk at the end.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
they didn't have a stacked roster like they did in the Attitude Era, and they don't have a stacked roster like they do right now.
Batista
I'm just saying.
Didn't stay long enough.
Give me top contenders. I don't want to spend way too much time on this, but like Batista, Triple H tail end of his career, Ric Flair tail end of his career. Randy Orton was a young guy, so he was on the top of his career, right? Batista didn't stay long.
He was starting to get big in WWE.
Undertaker downturn on his career, never was really.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
He was in and out a lot during that time.
Percocet Angle.
Brock was in UFC a lot during that time. Kurt Angle, was he in TNA at that point? I don't even know.
Kurt Angle went to TNA in 2004.
Yeah.
Technically, it was there. Edge.
Yeah, Edge took a big jump during that era. That Rated R Superstar. That's when he became huge. He didn't have no competition, but you're right. The competition compared to him was not close. It's not like now. We had a lot of top guys, right? Top levels heavy. Cena era was kind of weak in the top end. Yeah.
You do what you do, though. But then again, that's
not his fault.
It's not his fault. I agree. Like I said, I was just being that guy. It's like it's hard for me. It's just hard for me.
Both sides have an argument for sure.
So, all right. I think we spend a lot of time on these first two topics. So let's cool down and let's get to our rematch, Angel. We are back.
Hold up.
To guess the wrestler. You got myself, Kingpin, 0-1, AOK Gaming, 1-0-1, and Gonzo has the only loss in Guess the Wrestler. Me and Angel could not figure out Gonzo's Guess the Wrestler last week, which was Rikishi, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And we have another chance this time. Gonzo, are you able to put a timer?
As far as being a part of the Redeem team, this is going to be crucial for you all. If you don't get this, then I think you both have to retire.
I mean, if we don't get this, we're still ahead of you. So, as far as the win-loss record.
Yes, and I can get a timer. So,
All right,
how
cool.
long?
So
90 seconds, right?
So, once again, guys, I'm sure you guys seen this game before. Guess the rest on other people's podcast shows, whatever. So we have 3 hosts in comparison to 2 hosts. So basically, we have matchups every week. If me and Angel draw, we will face each other again for a 3rd time next week. If one of us win, the person that wins gets to stay on and play next week and face Gonzo, who is the presenter, and the loser will have to present a guest wrestler to us next week. Once again, we get 90 seconds to guess. And Gonzo, whenever you're ready, you can count us off. Angel, you could ask the first question. I'm going to give it to you.
Gonzo,
right.
tell me when you're ready.
Starting in 3, 2, 1.
Is it Goldust?
What?
No, it's
Damn
not
it.
Gold Dust.
All right, Mark, go.
What kind of
Go ahead,
Go.
Mark. You're wasting time.
is it wrestler or male?
Yes.
Did they wrestle?
John Cena.
Yeah, actually, it is John Cena. Thanks. You
Are
just
you-
ruined the whole thing.
Are you
Are you
serious?
serious?
Wow. Okay. Well, that was fun. I think you had, 20 seconds into it?
Damn it!
I have beaten Angel, but lucky for you,
That wasn't
lucky for
even
you,
fun.
lucky for you guys, I was prepared for this, and I have a guest the wrestler. If Angel would like to continue playing, or if Angel could think of a guest the wrestler within the next 1 minute, then we could do our matchup right now.
I felt so bad last week that you guys got stumped that I literally had to pick someone that was going to be easy. I didn't realize that we were going to spend almost 20 minutes talking about John Cena, so that really
Okay,
didn't
I
help
have a
anything.
wrestler. I have a wrestler.
And you're able to answer questions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I won guest the wrestler. I'm now tied with
Title
Angel. Angel, go ahead and put a timer on 90 seconds, and we will do a second round of guest the wrestler. 1 second.
90
Let's
seconds?
see. Yes, 90 seconds. Let's go. Let's hopefully we can redeem this. Gonzo, once again, I'm going to defer to you, and you could ask the first question.
All right.
Let me know
They
when.
said Mark's guest the wrestler would be Chris Jericho.
It's always
All right.
Jericho.
All right. I'm ready. I got my wrestler. I'm ready to go in 3, 2,
Gonzo, you're asking first.
1. Go, Gonzo.
Are they retired?
No, they're not.
Oh God, Vader.
No.
Are they currently active?
Yes, they are.
Chad Gable.
No.
Are they a male?
Yes.
Shawn Michaels.
No.
Are they on the Raw brand?
They are. Yes, they are.
Gunther.
No.
Have they ever used a submission as a finisher?
No.
Edge.
No.
Oh, you said they're active on the Raw brand. Never mind. Sorry. Well, that's my guess anyway.
You
Good,
fucked up.
Mark.
Have they won a world championship?
Yes.
Seth Rollins.
No.
Do they have long hair?
No. Never have either.
Gunther.
No.
I already said that. Have they won an Intercontinental Championship?
Oof. I don't think so. 20 seconds. He
Raw
might
brand.
have, but I don't think so. Off the top of my head, I don't remember that.
Fuck me. Kevin Owens. He's not even on Raw. But whatever.
No.
Go.
Finn Balor.
No.
Oh, that's your question. Oh shit. Who else is the world champion? Are they in a tag team?
Yes. Well,
Tag team.
Well, it's not really a tag team. It's more like a faction. Sorry.
Oh,
All right.
All right.
It time's
Final
up.
guess?
You just got one guess.
Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
That's
Ray.
2
I don't know
dubs.
if Ray won an IC title, by the way.
In
If
a
he did, I
what?
apologize. I
He did
don't
not. He
know.
won a U.S. championship.
I
He
know
is
he has
not a Grand
Cruiserweight
Slam champion.
championship. I know
He is
won the
not a
WWE
Grand Slam
title.
champion.
I know he's won some titles in WCW, but I do not know if he won an IC. So
All right, so let me update our list here of people we use. So John Cena, and Rey Mysterio. All right. So next week, Gonzo will once again. He has one IC
He says
gold.
he has one IC gold. I
I don't
that.
remember. I don't think he's a Grand Slam champion, is he?
I don't know. I don't remember him wearing the IC.
It's all right. I got the guess.
Cruiserweight title.
So once again, so Gonzo will present next week again. Me and Angel will go head to head again. I am now 2-0-1. Gonzo still has yet to get a victory.
He did win it. WrestleMania 25, he beat JBL in 21 seconds for the IC title. Sorry.
Nice. It's okay. No problem. It didn't adhere to me. It's okay. Once the tag team question, I had it. So, but Gonzo moves to 0-2-0, and will face and will present again next week for Guess the Wrestlers. Guys, those of you that are watching, if you guys want us to use your Guess the Wrestler next week, feel free to message Gonzo privately, as he is the one presenting. All right, moving on. Let's talk about NXT and TNA crossovers. All right. We've seen a couple this week. We had Wesley reunited, shockingly, I might add, with MSK / the Rascals. That is Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz. Zach Wentz was tag team champions with Wesley when they were known as MSK in NXT. And then Zach Wentz had some issues outside the ring, which led to his termination. They came back this week, and they want the Rascals to wreck shop in NXT. And it seems as though we already have their first possible opponents, as Gallus kind of confronting them backstage. Also, Joe Hendry, you say his name and he appears. There he is. He finally appears. His crowd erupted as he was Trick Williams' his tag partner in the main event. That NXT doesn't have a huge crowd. I don't know how many people they feed in that ring, but they were so freaking loud. They were louder than TNA's crowd. And TNA also is in a small arena, much like NXT.
It's gotta be like 2,000 people. Nah, I don't even think that. It's probably like 500
So
people.
I thought that was cool. This is not the first time Joe Hendry made it on NXT. He was in the number one contenders battle royal that Javon won a few weeks ago. This is the second time he was thrown out immediately, but now he was in the main event and got the pin. So I thought that was pretty cool. Others that made the jump, Tatum Paxley to TNA a few weeks ago answered Jordan Grace's open challenge for the Knockouts Championship at Rebellion that was here in Chicago, but lost to Jordan Grace. But this week we have Charlie Dempsey going this Thursday, tomorrow on Impact. He's part of the North Quarter Crutch crew, and will challenge.
People. The Performance Center is 300 people.
Okay, and they're louder than TNA Impact. I'm sorry, Charlie Dempsey, the son of William Regal, will face Zachary Wentz of the Rascals on TNA this Thursday. So this is something that us growing up didn't really get to see. Obviously, they didn't invent the Forbidden Door, as you know, that was the territory days. That was Forbidden Door all day. But it's really cool to see in WWE. AEW's Forbidden Door is open like a little whore. But what do you guys think of this crossover, and has it made you want to watch TNA? Gonzo.
Go back to like 6 episodes ago where I said this is the best thing for wrestling currently. Yes, it's fantastic. You get more exposure. It makes things actually exciting. It's not the same rinse and recycle people. Now you have the opportunity to build stars, make them more mainstream, put their brand out there, have them cross over. And it adds a level of intrigue and excitement if done correctly. So we said his name. He appeared. That wonderful entrance music is now embedded in my mind. So
now you know what it is, huh, guys? After you didn't
know I didn't. And again, this is because of the crossover. I didn't know who Joe Hendry was. I went down the rabbit hole and I've watched a lot of his stuff now. So therefore, that marketing has effectively worked, and I love Joe Hendry now. There you go.
And now he's looking up Impact matches with Joe Hendry.
Well, I don't know who the Rascals are. So, I mean, that's another bunch of people that I need to know. Like, it's intriguing to me. Wesley, I mean, he's got his Broly entrance, the DBZ animation that he's got going there. I was hoping he was going to retire. Peace. Thank you. Oba crushed another soul. And yet his former individuals come out, they rally him, and now he's there with this new quote unquote, right, reunions. All right, great. It's breathing life into him. I'm intrigued again. Let's go.
Angel, how do you feel about it?
It's great, man. It's really cool. NXT is the perfect place to start it off for WWE. They're very, very, reserved and like conservative when it comes to this type of stuff. They really never ever even done it much ever. AEW obviously has done it a lot, and I think it's worked there. They even have belts, being shared and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. WWE to be able to do this with NXT, it's great because it shows you that there's opportunities for these smaller brands that have good talent and good fan bases. They get to come out here, show their skills to a whole big audience that never, these audiences, nowadays because of social media and the access we have to watch matches and all the highlights and stuff like that. Yes, wrestling fans are more educated and can see stuff more if they so choose. Yes, but at the same time, you're still getting eyeballs on talent and on these crossovers that really would never really venture into TNA or into any of these other brands because they're just strictly WWE fans, which is cool. WWE is the big monster, and it's always has been, and that's fine. It's like the NFL, right? But when they do stuff like this, I think this is great because I'm going to reference another soccer term here. In soccer in Europe, if you have a player that's behind another great player on your team and he doesn't get a lot of playing time, but you still want him to develop, maybe because he's young and he just has Ronaldo in front of him, so he's not going to play this year at all. You can loan him out to another team in Germany. Your team's in Spain, but you're going to loan him out to Germany. He's going to play for Germany, but you still own him. This is very similar to the Forbidden Door. You have an opportunity now to use talent that maybe wouldn't be able to do something on your show, but now has access to another show, and their storylines can be embedded to another show, and they can perform, they can show out, and they can get more eyeballs on themselves and your brand. And it's very cool. WWE might be, just starting off with NXT, but we could see this dipping into the major brands. And I think it's really good, especially for guys like a Jey Uso, right? Maybe he needs to do a crossover. Obviously I'm going way down the rabbit hole and way ahead down the path with that idea, but it's just like that's something that can be done for guys that are kind of stuck. LA Knight, Jey Uso, so on and so forth, that can't, super leapfrog the champs that are ahead of them right now just because the stories are locked. So I like it. It needs to happen more.
So I like it. Obviously, I mean, I watch AEW for Doors Open all the time. You guys already know my thoughts. Kind of close a little bit in AEW, but I'm mentioning AEW for a reason. And the reason I asked you right when the segment started is, has this made you want to watch Impact a little more? And I think Gonzo did a little bit. So that's the reason why I started watching Impact, was because of AEW, because it brought more eyes on that brand. Why? Because Kenny Omega was carrying around the Impact World Championship.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool because technically Impact's a rival company. Anywhere you slice it, it's a rival company. New Japan, a rival company. WWE, a rival company. So even though WWE is working with Impact right now, it's still a rival company. So to have Kenny Omega, the belt collector, arguably one of the best title runs I've ever seen in my life, carrying another top, brand's championship on their show, I thought that was really cool. And I think NXT is not doing the same thing. They are not reciprocating. While, yes, it was cool to see NXT superstars go there, who have they sent? Tatum Paxley, who's an up-and-comer. While your point, Angel, you said, other people to get them over and started getting, get them more into the limelight of things, and she fought Jordan Grace. I thought that was cool. But I mean, at the end of the day, she's still a no-namer right now. She's trying to make her name. Yeah. You're setting Charlie Dempsey. Everyone knows him as the son of William Regal. I don't think WWE is reciprocating what TNA is doing. TNA is sending their top stars to WWE, and WWE hasn't done the same.
I mean, it's just starting though. They're just dipping their toe into it. Yeah. You got to give them some time, and obviously, the smaller brand is going to bend the knee to WWE.
Oh, of course.
WWE, of course, is going to tell them, "Hey, you got to put our guys over first, and then maybe we'll send some guys over. We'll put some of your guys over on your show. But right now, you got to help us, and then we'll help you." That's just the way. That's just the monster. That's just.
I mean, it is the monster, and I knew you guys were going to say that, but I mean, Jordan Grace is a beast. You guys seen 100%. What she can do.
No, she was
and
great.
She's a Knockouts Championship.
Ripped her ear out and kept going. Didn't care.
Yeah.
She's great.
And that's a top star for TNA. And she jobbed out to Roxanne. Joe Hendry's a
She
top star for
job out,
TNA.
but yeah, she put her over. I understand.
You know what I mean? It's like at some point WWE's gonna have to start
I mean,
doing that
Hendry
too.
just had a dub.
He did
he
just
got the
have a
pin.
dub.
He
He
got
did
the
get the
pin.
pin. He did get the pin, but he was also thrown out 3 weeks ago in 10 seconds in a Royal Rumble.
Well, like I
by
said,
25 guys though. Like
You
that
know?
yes, the
wasn't
whole
a one up.
roster.
So
and you got to scratch
So-
my back before I get to scratch yours.
well, it
That's
seems
the way
as though
WWE is gonna be.
it seems though TNA is just scratching everything right now, and I'm just getting
Joe Hendry
whoever
got
I'm
a
not
dub,
doing
so
anything with.
That's a start.
So-
That's a start. He got a pin. That's a start.
So that's all I'm
He got a
saying.
pin over the current champ, and the former champ was his teammate, and he didn't even get the pin either.
So
You
he got
gotta-
to win over the current champ because he's going to be the current champ's next opponent, and obviously he's not beating the current champ.
He might. What if he does though?
I'd
What
be
if he
shocked.
does?
I'm willing to
Hey,
bet my
that might
house
be
on
a
it
story
happening.
right there. Hey, if I'm Shawn Michaels, I'd be like, yo, we might have to let this guy win right now because he's doing some work out here.
I'll
And
take that back.
If we're talking business before we pivot though, it's expensive to be on television. WWE has X amount of time, and they allowed through whatever inner workings to allow TNA to come on and be a part of that very expensive airtime. You know, that's one thing. Again, if people are not considering it, an hour, 2 hours. I mean, when you condense it, if you watch it like on Hulu, like I do, NXT technically is an hour, but all of that time that it's spent on air, that costs a lot. The production costs a lot. And so, yeah, you're scratching my back. You're jobbing all out to us. But then again, you're on a premium channel where you're getting mass exposure now, and you're part of the WWE name that's also going to get a lot of clicks too. So that's just for
Great.
other people.
Great point. However, TNA has gone on record that they are not pleased with the exposure because nothing has been risen as far as ratings. Have you watched the show or have you looked at clips? That's my question.
I mean,
for you.
it's just fairly new though, man. I mean,
Gonzo, have you watched the show or have you looked at clips?
No, God, it's just clips right now.
That's what I'm saying, and it's like,
okay, but
I
Mark, real quick,
understand. Go ahead.
How do you watch TNA? How do you watch TNA?
I watched on TV.
Okay,
You saw the
On what-
recording
on
when you were
what
at my
channel?
house.
On what channel?
Access TV. Access TV.
So do we? Is that I don't even know if that is that a cable channel?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm just asking. I
Yes,
wasn't
it
sure
is.
if it was. I think we talked about this before, but I know there's some brands that are only online.
No,
Some
this is a
brands are on
cable channel.
TV.
They're on a cable network, Access
Okay.
TV. So I understand what you guys are saying, and I'm not really disputing it. I'm just saying at some point WWE has to reciprocate what they're doing, and they're not.
Maybe the problem is they are not advertising TNA at all. All they're saying is from TNA, Joe Hendry. That's it. That's all they tell the fans. They don't tell you what time their show's on. They don't tell you what channel their show's on. They don't tell you, oh, this match and this match is coming up on TNA. They don't mention anything. Just that here's their superstar. Here they are on a silver platter. They're here today, gone tomorrow. Like, and that's it.
So
Maybe they
Google
need to
doesn't
do a little
exist.
bit more scratching of the back, promo wise. Hey, TNA, they're on Access TV. Hey, TNA, they're on Thursday nights. Hey, TNA, this is their champ. Hey, TNA, Joe Hendry just fought this guy last week. Blah blah blah. Like, I think maybe you have a point with that. It's.
I mean, I agree with you that you're saying it's early. I mean, we've heard rumors, Moose, their world champion and all that, but once again, that's their world champion. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
who is WWE going to give to Moose? You know what I mean? So it's just
No, I
like,
know.
we just don't know. And it is early, and I get it. And WWE is obviously new to the Forbidden Door thing. You know what I mean? So we can see what happens, but at some point, you have to reciprocate it. Otherwise, people that don't watch all the top 3 promotions like I do, what is their incentive? I'm going watching Impact if they feel as though Impact is kind of lame, and I'm going to get Tatum Paxley, who's still trying to make a name for herself, and Charlie Dempsey, who really also is trying to make a name for himself, other than being William Regal's son.
I get it, bro.
So
you have a point, but let's let it breathe. WWE's never done this, so it's got to start somewhere. We'll see how it goes.
You're right. We'll see. All right, Judgment Day. We saw what happened this past week. I'm sorry. Did I mess up, Gonzo? Were you gonna say something else?
I was just gonna scream out that Chicky Tendies come at a price.
Dude, no more nuggies, dude. They're
no more nuggies. No more nuggies. All right. So quick recap on the Judgment Day as they usually dominate Raw. Dom tried to go to Adam Pearce to get out of the mixed tag match with Liv. Liv was stretching out Dom backstage. the Judgment Day catches them. Carlito says Dom looks hard. Seth Rollins, we touched about it earlier. Seth Rollins also had a backstage talk with Damian Priest. Basically, their stipulation went out the window, and he says that Damian says after he takes care of Gunther, if he takes care of Gunther, that Seth's going to get another shot. I thought that was kind of crazy to me. Liv and Dom beat the LWO. Liv makes Dom mount her, and they almost kiss, and the rest is history. The Queen has returned. Rhea Ripley returns. So that leads us to the question, is Liv Morgan's revenge tour over? Is Dom and Rhea going to get back together? Or are we going to see what all the cookies that have been, breadcrumbs have been leaving us? Are we going to see some type of split in the Judgment Day, even though Rhea Ripley's back? Can Rhea Ripley save the Judgment Day? Gonzo, how do you feel? What's going on?
Like I said, those chicky tendies that came at a price. Consequences. I will quote our new tribal chief that there are consequences and there is a debt that needs to be paid. And mommy has returned. And here we go. We are off to the races. And Judgment Day is about to implode.
Agreed. Judgment Day is going to implode because Liv is super hot right now. And I can't see her just being a placement champion. So we're definitely going to get Liv and Rhea at SummerSlam. And I think there's going to be a hell of shenanigans leading up to that. Angel, what are you thinking? You're like itching in your seat there.
Oh, sorry. I was texting.
He's there like, oh my God. You know?
No, I had to text my wife back. I really wanted Liv and Dom to actually almost actually do it. Like,
you want that man to lose his real life wife?
Yeah, well, no.
What do you want? You want an Edge and Lito situation in the bed in the middle of the ring? Like, what do you want there?
No, but like Dom to actually maybe kiss her, like actually fall for it, go all in.
He almost did. He leaned in.
But then they brought Rhea back, and now it's over. Like, it's never gonna happen.
Because Dom was probably like, dude, I can't do this shit because I got, you know what I mean?
His wife was probably like, dude, if I see one more week of you getting harassed by multiple women, now there's two of them. Anyways, I don't know if they're gonna break up. I think you guys are a little bit on edge for them to be just destroyed. I get the Liv thing; she's super hot, but I think Liv is just her focus is gonna move towards Rhea now. I don't know if she's really gonna be involved with the Judgment Day anymore. It worked so well because Rhea wasn't there and she could just manipulate them all, and she was the little straw stirring the pot for all that whole group. They got the titles, so on and so forth. Now though, I think Rhea back. It's not a bad thing. I love Rhea. I want mommy back, and it's gonna be her and mommy, and that's it. I don't know how much Dom might be in there a little bit, but the whole like hanging out, the nuggies or manipulating the rest of them, I don't see it right now. They got
a lot of people in the internet wrestling community, otherwise known as the IWC, are saying that Liv is going to take over the Judgment Day. There's going to be much like a Bloodline split, a Judgment Day split.
I don't see that. I don't see it. It could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't, but in my opinion, I don't think it's going to go that way. I don't think yet. Maybe later on when Damian. The only way they split is when Damian says it. I'm sorry. It's not going to be Rhea. It's going to be Damian that splits up Rhea doesn't have the belt right now. She's not. She's just coming back, and as big as she is, she's a superstar. Don't get me wrong. I think they're not going to split until Damian and Finn. When Damian and Finn break it up, that's when it's going to be broken up, in my opinion. Even with this whole Liv thing, and I love this story with Liv. But.
So speaking of Damian, so we're still in the Judgment Day here, right? So the feud that we keep thinking we're going to get in Damian and Finn, does that happen with a world championship? Or is Gunther pretty much taking that title in a month?
Man, I don't know. It's tough. They can go either way. Gonzo?
To me, if you have the title, great. If you don't, I'm still going to be intrigued and locked
of course.
in. Yeah. So I'm going to say no title because there's going to be something that happens where Priest is going to lose that, and I will say it's going to be because of Judgment Day shenanigans, and that's going to be the tipping point. Bad blood. You're going to have Priest potentially versus maybe the Demon Finn Balor. Maybe the Demon comes back. Who knows? I don't know.
All right, I'm going to be that guy. Judgment Day splits at SummerSlam. There will be shenanigans in the Damian Priest World Heavyweight Championship match against Priest, and there will also be shenanigans in the women's World Heavyweight
Yeah,
Championship.
maybe
Which
Dom messes up and Liv
yeah,
wins, keeps the title, and that
yeah.
splits them up.
So
Yeah.
at this point, it's got to be Liv versus Rhea at SummerSlam. She's got to get it. It's got to. So I think there's shenanigans in both of those matches, and that's when we finally get the whole Judgment Day split.
Right. Yeah, because Nia is going after Bailey's,
Mm-hmm.
and the Raw title is just open right now. Nobody's number one contender. Okay.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And remember, Rhea never lost, so there is no, as far as like a rematch clause that they don't have. She never lost that championship, so technically she's there. So, all right. If there's nothing else on Rhea Ripley's return, Wyatt 6 Gonzo. I always love to give this to you. We have a part 3 of this VHS tape. Before you get to break that down real quick, we saw everything that happened, Jey Uso versus Chad Gable, because they don't have anything to do with, they don't know what to do with Jey Uso anymore. We saw Chad Gable get stalked once again. The box was given to McAfee. We got part 3 of the interview, but post interview, where I want to talk about that as well. We actually saw Bo Dallas, not Uncle Howdy, but Bo Dallas sitting in Adam Pearce's office. So take us through the video, and then why was Bo sitting in the office?
Oh, you've ruined it for me. Well, my wife is sitting there watching it with me, and she's like, "Oh, they're doing this for the 3rd consecutive time. Trash, garbage." And I didn't even say anything. I said, "Yeah, but this is the same thing that happened last week, where it was the same, and then all of a sudden they flip it on your head, and it's like, oh, well, there's the difference, right? That's something that past stuff they didn't do that." So yep, here we have another VHS tape. This time it's given to McAfee. Ultimately, they find the VHS player on the truck. They play it, and here we have the very similar distorted VHS skipping and everything. And it's Bo Dallas talking about stuff and things, and he's talking a little bit more now about the ones that he saved. They didn't have a purpose. I'm giving them a purpose. And I said, oh, that was kind of cool, maybe, I guess. I don't know. You're giving us a little bit more information. And then shortly after that, though, Chad Gable, oh, I need to talk to you, Pierce. You've been, ducking me all day. And all of a sudden, Pierce turns and looks. He's like, dude, this is my office. Like, what's wrong with you? And then as soon as the door opens, Gable goes away. You have Bo Dallas sitting there in street clothes. And I just jumped out of my chair. I said, wow, look at this. Let's go. And I said, I take back all the terrible things I just said 10 seconds ago. You have my intrigue yet again. And I'm actually excited for that, because I think they're doing that on purpose, right? Because it's been so repetitive for so long in the past that Bray would do the same stuff. It'd be nonsensical. Where are you going with this? I don't understand. You sound cool. But then they are giving us little tidbits of how it's different, repetitive to a certain degree. And they think that, oh, here we go again. But then they give you something that is a little bit more captivating. What does that possibly mean? I don't know. It's not in the world the spooky version anymore. He was physically there, and it wasn't in the Uncle Howdy mask. It wasn't in any of that. Here you have him presented as a normal human being sitting talking with the Raw general manager. That was not done ever previously before, right? So grounded. Are they going again the Joker way, where it's a real person, but they're putting on an identity or a mask? And once they turn the mask on, all of a sudden they turn into a different being, right? It's not so much into the world of supernatural, but there's still a lot of feeling grounded with that. And that's where I'll leave it at.
Angel, do you have any thoughts? What do you make of all it, man?
Yeah. The video itself, it just seemed like it was an intro of the family. They haven't really been talked about enough, I guess, yet, is what the video kind of was just doing.
I agree.
It's mostly been about, Uncle Howdy and stuff, obviously, and it makes sense that Uncle Howdy's the main, character in this whole story, but they did need to respect their characters, give them their little bit of an intro and such. And you saw them without their mask a little bit too. Some of them were without their mask, which is a cool idea, because now we're getting them more grounded, as Gonzo's saying. Now they're not just the bunny mask in a little outfit. Now they're actually, oh, okay, that's who that is. You know what I mean? So it's just a little intro for them. I get it. It's a little redundant with the video, but I'm hoping, I don't think they really need to do videos anymore, hopefully, until they need it again. But right now, for this intro part of it, don't need it anymore. And then, yeah, him being there in person, like Gonzo just went through, that was probably the coolest moment unexpected. Really cool way they did it with Chad just outside the door right there, and then the transitions in WWE have been great lately. The way they've had characters go in and out of scenes and changing places, it's really cool. The timing of it is really smooth. Um, and then yeah, Bo sitting there was really cool. It seems like there's a Jekyll and Hyde vibe. Maybe when he's at the arena, he can be just Bo or Rotunda, whatever you want to call it, and then maybe when he wants to turn into that demon, into Uncle Howdy, and he wants to attack people and punish people, he transforms. We don't know yet, but right now, him being there and able to talk to Pierce, that's cool. We're gonna be able to see now how they're gonna bring this into the wrestling world.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now it was mostly just the fantasy world, and attacking Chad was really the only wrestling world we had. And now him sitting there as a real person, lights on, like Gonzo said, no makeup, no nothing, ready to go, ready to talk to the boss and see what he was going to do next. And the boss willing to go in there and talk to him. That's cool. We're going to find out. I'm excited.
Any ideas on what they were talking about?
Ooh,
Probably the mass murder.
Maybe just an opportunity to
explain his actions, maybe
and maybe ask for a match against Gable. Maybe say, hey, I want to tie this up, man to man, on camera in the ring.
I don't even think we're there yet, to be honest, as far as in ring performance. But I could be dead wrong.
Yeah, it could go anywhere right now.
I think it's him explaining his actions on why he did what he did to Pierce and explain what was going on. But we'll find out. I'm definitely excited. That was the best part because much like you guys, I saw that video. I was like, dude, again? We just said this last week that we don't want to see that shit again. So, but I'm intrigued again, like Gonzo said. So we'll see. But like I said, I think it's him having a discussion on his actions as well as the rest of the family's actions. So, all right, last thing, the Bloodline once again dominating, our show as per usual. The Tribal Chief addressed the WWE Universe to end SmackDown. He says that him wearing the Ulafala makes him, which is the red necklace thing that he wears, makes him the Tribal Chief, which is basically the High Chiefs use Samoan culture wear such as necklaces on their important occasions, which explains why the Tribal Chief uses it only at PLEs, if you noticed, which is kind of crazy to me. So what he did also was call out Roman Reigns, which was crazy to me too. He says that he wasn't man enough to beat Cody and that he will bring back the championship to the family. And if Roman Reigns wants it back, he can come and try to get it from him. How do you feel about Solo Sikoa now, Angel?
You talking to me, I guess?
Oh, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. At least he's being that leader that he's been trying to become. This is the most he's looked like this, or like this is the most he's looked like the head of the table since WrestleMania. When I say since WrestleMania, if you recall, that moment where he had Cody down, he might have given him a Samoan spike. I can't remember now that match at the end, but he was literally trying to drag Roman over to Cody and get him to pin him. It seemed like it was over at that point. And it just seemed like that was the moment that Solo said, I'm done with Roman. Like, I did all this for you. You still couldn't do it. Like, it's not you, man. And like, that's when he really gave up on Roman in that match. We'd have to watch it again and look at that moment that I'm talking about. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So since that time, that was the head of the table style Solo right there. And then now this is a head of the table style Solo where he's actually calling out Roman, saying that's it, no more. If he wants to take it, so on and so forth. And that mentioned that he wasn't man enough to beat Cody. I think he's specifically referencing that moment in that match. So it's really cool. I like the storytelling. Solo. The only thing I will say though, bro, I mean, Jacob kind of overshadows these dudes in these these tag team matches and stuff. Like he's got more charisma than some of these guys that he's working with on the Bloodline. I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to badmouth these guys because they're very talented. I think they can all talk and wrestle and stuff like that. Jacob's just on a different level, though. I don't know. Already, he seems a bigger than life star in him. I don't know. The guy's just different. So we'll see how it goes. It's tough for Solo because Jacob's a big personality in the ring. So,
Gonzo, any thoughts on Solo shooting his shot now and basically igniting the Bloodline War?
I like seeing Angel in complete chaos as he backtracks and he has to acknowledge. He has to acknowledge.
your
Oh my god,
tribal
it's taken
chief.
forever. It was just these months leading up to it. Was
There's a
dragging.
thing in books and movies and shows. It's called character development.
It
And
didn't need to
that's
take
what
this
we've
long.
seen.
But I guess they had to get the contracts together for the brothers to show up. So like, whatever. Go ahead, Gonzo.
Can you just acknowledge him, please? Like, I mean,
I
like, damn.
acknowledge Jacob Fatu as the
Okay.
That's all I need to
Okay.
say. All
Whatever.
of this, like I said, all the animosity and the pain that Angel's going through is what makes my heart warm at night.
Yeah, whatever. So basically, I think my takeaway from all of this, and I always ask you guys when we talk about factions, their outlook. The biggest takeaway is that Solo literally just ignited the Bloodline War, and now we're really gonna see who might come back. Maybe my boots to asses homie might come back. Maybe Roman comes back SummerSlam. We don't know, but it has now been ignited.
Rocky will be the X factor in this. Because you could see where they're going to divide already, right? It's Rocky will tip the balance of like where this is going to go. In my opinion.
Agreed. So we'll see. Like we said earlier, Jay has nothing to do now. So I mean, he might have to take a regression to join the Bloodline Wars.
Jimmy J time.
Jimmy's been MIA, so we'll see. Jimmy's a free agent, so it would not shock me for him to get signed to Raw, or he just shows up back with either The Rock or Roman Reigns. So
I mean, can't you see Roman coming back alone, maybe with the Wise Man?
He's coming back with the Wise Man. Wiseman's going to come back. That's 100%. When Roman's back, Wiseman's back.
Yeah, they're going to walk out together,
Yeah.
whenever he does his amazing entrance, and everyone's going to pop the freaking roof off when that happens. But he's going to be alone, and I'm sure he's going to get jumped. And when he gets jumped, that's when Jimmy and Jay might have to get involved with it. But
okay,
that's probably what's going to happen.
All right. Well, so before we close out the show, guys, Angel, final thoughts, maybe on Speed. There was a match today. There's a match
today.
Speed
update. Okay.
That's usually your final thoughts, but any final thoughts on anything?
Others because I said the Pele thing earlier, so that's fine. Andrade won his Friday match against Xavier Woods, and still Speed champion. The match was decent. They moved pretty good. It wasn't anything spectacular though. The 5-minute match.
Wasn't there a match today?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
So the championship matches are 5 minutes. The regular matches are 3 minutes. So the 5 minute
I didn't
matches,
know that.
Yeah, the championship matches are 5 minutes, but it does slow them down a little bit. They don't move as quickly in the championship matches. I don't know if it's like they got to get to their spots, but it's just not as intense. And yeah, Andrade wins, keeps his title, so on and so forth. Xavier lost. Today started a new bracket or tournament, whatever you want to call it. It starts all over again right away. It was Dawkins versus Corbin, and they are big men. I think Corbin's 6'7" or 6'6". He's a big dude.
6'8".
And yeah, he's big. And Dawkins, that's a big dude too. It was actually really cool to see them move. I mean, WWE's got some big guys that can move. I know Corbin has never been anyone's, favorite guy in WWE, but in ring, he moved pretty well. And Dawkins always has been athletic. I mean, the Street Profit matches, he always moves pretty well. That was a cool match. Check it out if you want. It's a 3-minute match, really quick. And they move pretty well. Corbin wins. But it was actually really cool to see big guys do that. And they even interview him afterwards, and he talks about it, how they're big dudes doing that stuff. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, love to see someone from a top tag team in a non-televised speed show. I love it.
I can only talk about what they did. If you want to talk about the writing, that's something different. But I'm not going to.
Gonzo, final thoughts. Any final thoughts on anything that you want to talk about?
As far as wrestling related wise, no, I'm pretty pleased. This last week has been very entertaining, and I will say that the NXT Heat Wave, those, was it 5 matches that they did? Those matches were phenomenal. Specifically the Frazier match. That tag team match was next level when it came to, oh, okay, so my dog just busted into here. So sorry if he's whining and
No
crying.
problem. No problem. I got 2 final thoughts before.
Wait,
go ahead,
can I say
Joe.
one more before you go, bro?
Mm-hmm.
The cup match, not the cup. Yeah, what's it called?
Heritage Cup match was
Heritage
phenomenal.
Cup match was really
Yes.
good.
Yep.
I'm glad the family keeps the cup in there.
I definitely changed my tune because I was really mad that the Don quickly left the world title picture, but he's been making the Heritage Cups great, and that's something I would like to see on the main roster.
Yeah,
100%.
Too. It's a fun match to watch, bro. Like
It
when that
really
match started,
is.
I was like, "Oh, hold up, I gotta watch this like all the way through." Like I was excited for it.
For
like,
sure.
It's cool. It's really cool. Yeah. I just want to say that.
I love it. All right, so I got 2. Number 1, we got new tag team champions on SmackDown, DIY. Anybody know how many times A-Town Down Under defended that title? Twice. Yeah. Continue with the bad book in the tag team division. That's all I wanted to say on that. I won't go on my rant anymore.
I
But
like
congratulations.
DIY,
I love DIY. I was about
They're
to say
cool.
I do love DIY. But yeah, so hopefully they have a better run because both new champions on both brands were terrible runs. Chase U should have won on NXT. That's my other thought.
Chase U is good.
Yeah. They need to stay on NXT though, because they usually go in like college areas. And I think that would play well as far as marketing for Chase U.
In ring though, they're great. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Duke Hudson's gonna get jobbed out to Oba. Poor guy.
Yeah. But he did a good promo. He cut a good promo.
He did. My last final thought. I meant to say it earlier, so that's why I'm saying it now before we close the show. Bad Blood is returning, and ATL also. That's where the first ever Bad Blood was, and that's where the first ever Hell in a Cell took place at Bad Blood in ATL. Forget Undertaker and Mankind.
What?
Was it? No, Undertaker and somebody.
Throws him off.
I don't know. I think it's bad. I don't remember. But it's the first ever Bad Blood. First ever Hell in a Cell match was at Bad Blood, and CM Punk and Drew McIntyre will be in a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. You heard it here first. But with that being said, that takes
Shawn
Michaels. That wraps up our episode 22 of the Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast. Angel, why don't you tell everyone what you got going on and where we can find you, sir?
Find me on Twitch or Kick Live. I was kind of off last week because of work and the holiday, but I'll be playing again coming up. Got college football coming out next week. Got some other games we've been playing. Siege, always playing that. FC. Got some other games maybe we'll check out. Me and Marc were playing Streets of Rage last night. Just fun games. So see what's going on. But yeah, at @_OK Gaming on those streaming sites, and then you can find me on X talking about speed.
All right, Gonzo, if you can, we'll tell everybody what you got going on and where you can find you, or you can't. Was that a no? You can't. All right, so Gonzo right now is getting mauled by his dogs for you listeners out there, but you could find him at raising_personalities on all social media except X. On X, you can find him David_MA_LCPC because he's a real life therapist. If you ever want to reach out and you need someone to talk to, he's your man. He's really active on X when it comes to PLEs here and there. But yeah, so once again, he is hosting next week. Again, Guest the Wrestler. He still has yet to win. I want to point that out there. So if you want him to use a Guest the Wrestler, why don't you DM him on any of his social medias? And for me, you all know where to find me, pro_wrestling_kingpin, all social media. I'm opening wrestling cards, pulled a Raven. If you guys remember Raven from back in the day, What About Me? What About Raven? A match relic on TNA card, which is pretty dope. Otherwise, join us every Wednesday night, 9:30 Central Standard Time, live on YouTube and Twitch for Smacktalk Wrestling Podcast, or listen tomorrow on Thursday on Spotify. But once again, we appreciate you guys watching and the engagements, and we'll see you next week. Acknowledge your tribal chief.